Hello, good morning, good afternoon.
Good evening and good night.
All right, it's time for Daily Stoic, where Oli and I get to read the entry for the day. And by the way, we're not pre-reading any of this, so we really don't know what we're getting into. And sometimes it's like, ugh, am I going to understand this? Am I going to sound like a freaking idiot? Okay. I'm sorry. Did you have something to add?
No. I just put some like a strong statement there. Okay, good.
Okay. Happy April 4th. We
4-4.
Yeah, 4-4.
4-4.
Like it's falling asleep. Don't let this go to your head. What is the this that we are referring to today?
Anything.
That's the big question.
Anything and everything.
Okay.
Nothing. Don't let anything go into your head.
Cool. Let's see
what it is.
Yeah, let's see if Marcus Aurelius will explain it to us. He says, make sure you're not made emperor. Avoid that imperial stain. It can happen to you, so keep yourself simple, good, pure, saintly, plain, a friend of justice, God-fearing, gracious, affectionate, and strong for your proper work. Fight to remain the person that philosophy wished to make you. Revere the gods and look after each other. Life is short. The fruit of this life is a good character and acts for the common good.
The fruit of this life is a good character. I like that. Yeah, because we are almost like we're like fruit trees or something. We have these flowers on us, and then we have this fruit, and there's this value there, and it's like, well, what is the actual value of life? Is living it
A good character?
Living it in like a good character. Now, what is a good character is essentially the entire book.
Or maybe like even that. Just what Marcus says here of like keeping yourself simple, good, pure, saintly.
Be fear of don't
God-fearing.
Don't be not afraid of anything. There has to be something you're afraid of, which is like he's talking about gods. Like don't be egoistic thing and thinking like you're at the top of the food chain,
right?
Like that ego. Like hold on, no, I'm just in some sort of a hierarchy.
Yeah, I read God-fearing
mostly somewhere at the bottom.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I read God-fearing as like the element of reality that we don't have control over.
Right.
And so, yeah, like I have to be God-fearing because ultimately that will be done. Like I have the will to play against that, but it's that story I'm living in. This isn't my story. Like I am a smaller piece within the story of a larger system. So yeah, I must be God-fearing, aka I must like respect the fact that this system is actually ultimately gonna decide whether I fall asleep tonight or die.
As a human. But it's interesting because I'm smiling because I then see you as like that system, right? Like so you're like
once I die.
Well, no, not once you die, because you're part of the system of dying.
I'm part of it one way or the other.
Yeah, and you're not going to not be part of it after the body is no longer maybe part of that system, but you're still part of the system. That which made the body to be here and be live it's connected to that, and ultimately if it's connected, then you must be both. Because you are in both essentially.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing him kind of like write himself a recipe for his character as a preparation for when times are really good.
Mhm.
Because I think we all we try to fortify ourselves for when times are bad,
Mhm.
but we don't. I don't. I spend a lot of time in my journal or in meditation or just walking around, when my mind is wandering, fortifying against myself internally against what could go wrong with things. What could go wrong at this meeting? What could go wrong with this event? What could go wrong in all these areas? And how much time do I spend fortifying myself against everything that could go really right is not that much time. And so I'm seeing that too here, not just the warning of don't let this go to your head, but also maybe this he's modeling right here because he was the emperor of Rome. So he had this, he had the purple robes, he had whatever material things that he could possibly want and all of the power in the world essentially. So he's modeling then what a lifestyle is like in that situation. It's it's kind of, you have to almost spend daily time reminding yourself, I am not this amazing net worth that I have or something like that, and it's difficult for me to imagine actually a lifestyle where I'm doing that instead of fortifying myself against all the shit that could go wrong.
Yeah, it's funny how you said something that came up was you said, I'm not this, and there's you had this pause, and then you said this emperor or something, right? But the I'm not this, reminding yourself every day that I am not this ... Whatever you might be considering yourself, he might be considering himself emperor, and then he says, I'm not this emperor. And then I might be a construction guy, and so I need to be saying, I'm not this construction guy. I'm something. I do constructions maybe or something, but I'm not that, right? I'm not, what am I not? And am I, and then it goes deeper into the questioning of what am I in all of it, thoughts, and what am I, this body, am I this person, am I, it could go very, very deep to keep asking that question, what am I actually not? Instead of what am I, it's what am I not?
Yeah. And are you suggesting that as a daily practice of some sort?
Well, I'm just saying that that's what kind of came up what you said, that we should remind he said not reminding yourself, you have to remind yourself every day that you are not this emperor. And I'm saying the reminding yourself, I am not this ... whatever you are, remind yourself that you are not that you think you are, or that others call you. You are this doctor. I am not this doctor, right? Remind yourself of that. You are much more than a doctor, let's say, right? Or much less than a doctor, but you're, that's what kind of stood up from what you were saying. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definitely its own. Now I'm just briefly to summarize, your point is reminding you of what you aren't when you are in a I am ... if you find yourself thinking I am ... that is something to be investigated.
Right.
And the likelihood is that it is actually I am not ... So I like that. And that's so I think that's one cool takeaway. And then the other takeaway that I was also trying to express was, and maybe not very skillfully, is he's preparing himself for good times.
No, that was I got that. Don't just prepare for your bad times, because then you're occupied with this negative thinking constantly of oh my God, everything is about to go wrong. There is this other force of the gods who are driving this system, this force, right? So I don't know what's coming. So I'm constantly worrying what's coming, what's about to fall on me. But the problem is that what's about to fall on you could be millions of dollars and a successful business or
Right,
something.
exactly.
And now you're like, you're not thinking about this at all. You're
Right.
just thinking about where to not make a mistake so the gods don't punish you. The gods are also rewarding you the same exact rate. Maybe
Right,
not in the
they-
same exact sequence, but in the same exact quality.
And who knows, they might
Right.
even be rewarding you
more than
if you
just let
actually
it. Yeah,
take the time to prepare
Mhm.
for better
that.
luck.
Yes.
If I prepare myself for better luck,
Mhm.
better luck will maybe show up.
Right, because like, why would God want to shove something in front of you that you cannot handle, like $50 million?
Just like randomly, like
Just randomly.
you will collapse.
Right, you will collapse, right? Like, oh no, but let's not torture this poor human. Let's not give them $50 million. Let's just give them like a minimum wage.
Right, if that person is
Hopefully they'd
constantly,
be cool.
if that person is in a mindset where they're constantly just worrying about the negative shit, and you give them $50 million, they will collapse under the weight of that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they're
not
mentally
ready. Yeah.
not ready for it. Yeah.
They've never thought of it.
Right, yeah. They don't have the mental framework
Yeah.
to do something with it. Their mental framework is just like this collapsed small thing that $50 million just weights down.
Yeah. Versus if you're one of those people who are just constantly dreaming about like, what would I do with the $50 million? Hey, you're more ready than the guy who's never thought of it, right?
Yeah.
Dream on.
That's-
Okay, cool.
That's a good segue.
Yeah, that's fun.
Cool. All right. Let us know your thoughts, obviously. And we will move on to Marcus. No, I'm sorry. Ryan. They're all the same.
They are. It's the same people.
Marcus Holiday.
Marcus Holiday.
All right. Ryan says, it is difficult even to conceive of what life must have been like for Marcus Aurelius. He wasn't born emperor, nor did he obtain the position deliberately. It was simply thrust upon him. Nevertheless, he was suddenly the richest man in the world, head of the most powerful army on earth, ruling over the largest empire in history, considered a god among men. It's no wonder he wrote little messages like this one to remind himself not to spin off the planet. Without them, he might have lost his sense of what was important, falling prey to the lies from all the people who needed things from him. And here we are, whatever we happen to be doing, at risk of spinning off ourselves. When we experience success, we must make sure that it doesn't change us, that we continue to maintain our character despite the temptation not to. Reason must lead the way, no matter what good fortune comes along. I'm glad that he gave the synopsis of Marcus Aurelius because I feel like I've been doing a really shitty job of it. So let's remember that April 4th is the day that we learn a little bit about, just how crazy it was to be Marcus.
But it's crazy to be anyone.
Yes.
We are all nobody's special, and everyone's in a way unique, right? And so all of our experiences are as present and as real and as wonderful as Marcus's or Ryan's or yours or mine or anyone else. They might seem boring or something because they're like, we're not in battles, or we're not like preparing for a celebration of the Rome, a month of olive oils in Rome or something, right? Like, we're not doing that. We are going to work, but we're living this life, right? But it's not a less of a life or more of a life. It's just our experience, and that makes me be like Marcus, right? Because I'm like, oh, I am like him. And you are like him. Everyone is like him.
Yeah, you see that human nature is, we all share the same human nature.
Yeah. And ultimately, don't we all want to kind of be like that? Like, if we can just go like this, wouldn't we also choose that?
Choose what?
To live based on this, so it's so easy that we're just doing it, living based on these types of principles. Like if I had a choice to like, hey, take this pill and you'll be effortlessly living by these principles, like you don't have to go through all these changes to get there. Like I would, well, I don't know if I would choose it, but like I would want to live by those principles all the time if I could, right? So it's like, yeah, there would be, so I would,
Yeah, it definitely is a life task.
yeah. But would I want it like this? That's a different thing, because if you get it like that, then maybe it's not as valuable as if you actually
I mean, at
grinding
this point,
through it.
that's not even a possibility, so it's
I know.
hard to even
I know.
say, would I want something that's not possible?
Well, I know. I'm just going through like matrix ideas of take the blue pill or whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
Good to
Beautiful.
go. All right. Well, if you're watching this, say something, please.
Say something, please.